So I saw Avatar: The Way of Water last week, directed by moneymaker himself, James Cameron, and yeah, it's good. What do you want me to say? Now, Avatar has had an interesting legacy. You know, on one hand, obviously it's the highest grossing movie of all time, a cultural event, and on the other hand, some people are like, name a main character from the movie, and you can't. And now comes a sequel over a decade later. You know, will people care? Is it actually good? Was it worth the wait? Did I take out the trash? So let's start with the spectacle of it all, because it is massive. That's what she said. James Cameron obviously knows how to make a blockbuster. You know, he's only been doing it his whole life, and this actually feels like an epic blockbuster and not like a little eeny weeny blockbuster. There's huge action set pieces, as you would expect, which is like seriously some of the best visual effects like ever. You know, like sometimes during the movie I'm just like, okay, yeah, that's pretty good visual effects, and other times I'm like, that is a real blue person. Like, they are walking the earth, because ain't no way. The underwater sequences are like pretty much damn spotless. You know, the creatures going around, they look so real, and that all adds up pretty much what I'm trying to say to what people liked about the first one, which is the world building. Pandora feels even larger somehow, with, you know, more colonies that are being explored. It just feels like a much more vast world, which is what you want to expand on in a sequel. I said this on my Twitter and Letterboxd, but like seriously, leaving Pandora after the movie ended and coming back into my shit life, just not good. You know, I don't recommend that. One thing that is improved upon the first movie is, you know, if I could borrow Fast and Furious for a second, is you know, family. Jake Sully has a family with kids, a bunch of them. You know, he definitely got busy. And obviously that enters a interesting family dynamic throughout the whole movie. You know, obviously Jake Sully has more people to protect, which means the stakes are higher and more emotional. And that is why, if I simplify it down, I like this one more than the first. There's moments where you really feel like anyone can die because the stakes are so amped up, and like there's genuine emotional moments. And that's something that I don't think I remember from the first one. And I saw the re-release, so it's still kind of fresh in my head. But the family aspect of it all is truly what it comes down to, which is why I like this one more. It really does a lot of the heavy lifting with, you know, a large focus on the children. And even some of the, you know, children that are kind of pushed to the side, you still understand their characters like fully. There's a scene towards the end, you know, no spoilers, but there's a scene towards the end where it kind of parallels siblings with the mom and dad. And that was when I was like, okay, this is good right here. This is cinema. And I will say the, you know, overarching story itself isn't anything to write home about. You know, if I could kind of simplify it down, just people trying to kill Jake Sully and his family. So nothing mind-blowing there. And the dialogue is still a little awkward. I know that was a complaint about the first one. I still feel that way with the second one. In particular, they kind of talk like how we talk now, which is a little weird considering what we're seeing. Now, maybe you won't notice that, but like for me, there's a scene where like one of the kids gets into a fight and they say, like, one of them says, "That's a punch, bitch." And I was like, wait, do they say bitch here? Do the Na'vi say bitch? That's interesting. Now, the movie is over 3 hours long, which I know some people's bladders are already quivering at that fact. To me, two things can be true at once. One, this movie was not boring, and it actually kind of flew by. I never really felt the length, but also, are there some scenes that probably could have been taken out to make it a little bit tighter? Yeah, I think two things can be true at once. That's kind of how I feel. I think expectations will play a large part into how people receive this movie. I know some people are genuinely can't wait for this movie. I know others were like, I really don't care about coming back to Pandora. And with the reviews coming out and the social reactions that have already been glowing, including from myself, I don't want to kind of hype it up that much. I know some people are saying like this is something that you've like never seen before. To me, in like the visual effects and tech-wise and the underwater, yeah, maybe you've never really seen that before. As an overall story, you kind of have seen it before. But in my opinion, this movie didn't even need to be some groundbreaking feat where I'm like, I've never seen that particular story beat in my life. Because to me, the visual effects, obviously that's insanely impressive, but is the story still good? Absolutely, it's good. Much more character development, which I like more than the first. It's just a good ass movie. This is how you do a blockbuster. James Cameron did it again. Avatar: The Way of Water, 4 stars. I'm still mulling over the ratings, to be honest, and there's a couple movies I'm still mulling over. It's either 4 or 4.5. I'm going to rewatch it with my friends. Follow me on Letterboxd to see what I think. In terms of Oscar stuff, I can be quick about this. This is getting in for picture, and I feel very vindicated about that, considering everyone talked me out of it. I've already complained about that enough. And obviously, it'll get a bunch of text, you know, like I'm just really going off the top. Obviously, visual effects, that's a lock. A lock, okay? I don't like saying lock, but visual effects, done. It's over. It's a lock. Then you get into things like production design, cinematography there, and, you know, maybe sound, which I think is pretty good. So you get to some tech categories. Really, to me, the only question mark about this movie is James Cameron as director. Will this be Lord of the Rings and the Two Towers, where it's a sequel to a movie that was nominated for picture and director, but then the second time around with the sequel, it only gets picture? Will that happen? I don't know. Or will he just kind of get in because James Cameron is so respected by the director's branch anyways? It's a tough question. By the time you all see this review, the Golden Globe nominations will be out. So maybe that answers a question there, or maybe it doesn't at all. All I know is Avatar: The Way of Water is a good-ass movie, and that's how you do it. Okay, I haven't eaten today, so I need to eat. I'm so hungry.